Hey, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another session of A Mummer Story. Today, I'm joined with Chris D'Amore from Polish American String Band, my personal favorite. What's going on, dude?
How are you? Nothing much.
Let me tell you, I think you guys did an absolutely amazing job this year. As a matter of fact,
Thank you.
being from Port Richmond is one of the main reasons I watch Polish American String Band. Like I said, I had a family member that was once in it, and I'm always rooting for you guys, always.
Oh, thank you. That means a lot to us.
So let me ask you, how did you get introduced to Mummers?
So my father got involved back, I would say back in 1970 with the Darning String Band, and slowly, obviously, once we were all born and everything, got us all involved. And we all grew up in Fraunger, and then we all went in different bands after that. But I think it was back in the 70s. I think it was like 1970, actually.
Okay. So how many bands have you personally been with?
I've been in 3. I was in Fraunger, Furco, and Polish American.
So what are the difference between the 3 string bands that you've been in?
It's hard to say. I mean, obviously, it's all different talent levels, I would say, but it's really tough to say because they're all a great group of guys. They all strive to do the same thing, which is entertain people. And I wouldn't say there's major differences other than the talent level. But it's all the same common goal.
Right. So a question that I've been pondering to ask a few guys, and again, it's not that, you think of any different from any of the string band because you said they're all amazing. But why do most mummers, whether you're a musician or just a performer, why do you guys usually switch from band to band? Is there a reason or?
Well, sometimes people want to go and be with their friends. Like they're like, I know a couple people that were in a band together. We were in a band, and then here they just said, my friend just got involved, and I want to go march with him for a couple of years. I'm like, it is what it is. Some people leave for bad reasons. Some people leave for it. It all depends on the person. I mean, again, that's a really tough question. It really is because some people, it's bad reasons. It shouldn't be talked about. But I mean, I don't know. I've made friends in every band that I've been with, and I've still made friends with many people in each band, and I don't wish any band bad blood or anything like that.
So what instrument do you play?
I played a saxophone.
I got a lot of saxophone guys on here.
I know for a name with a string band,
Yeah,
a lot of saxophone players.
And a horn section, like you can really pick out, the string band, like the string guitar. What's it called? Oh, Christ, my buddies are gonna laugh at me. I can't think of the name of it. What is it? A banjo. Banjo. Yeah. There you go. So I mean, you can really make that out, but the horns, you know what I mean? To me, the horns that's what blows the fans away.
It is. It's kind of I always said that the horns were, first of all, it's a more powerful instrument when you can project air into something that produces volume. Obviously, you can control it, but the saxophone or any woodwind or brass instrument, it just cuts through volume wise. It's just amazing.
So, how long have you played the saxophone?
I think I started taking lessons around September of 2004. So 18 years is that?
So
I think it's 18 years.
Yeah, I mean, would that be considered like a fairly new player or? I mean, some guys been playing since they've been really young.
Uh,
So.
Yeah, it all depends on the person. I mean, I know people. I've known people not in string band, but have been playing for almost 30 years, and it sounds like that they. There's no nice way to put it, but it sounds like that they just started, you know. And then there's people that I know that have only been playing like 5 years, and they're just phenomenal. You know, it makes me feel like, what did I do with all these years of playing? You know,
Yeah. So describe to me your very first parade.
in costume or as a anything.
Either or.
All right, so I'll go costume. My first year was 2007, and it was actually a bittersweet thing because you know, I was watching with my father and my two older brothers for the first time. We were all in suit together, and that year I was in Fralinger, and Fralinger was going for the record of winning 5 in a row. Uh, and The whole day it was like surreal because I was a marshal beforehand, and I've seen old videos of of Fralinger all day long or other bands all day long on Broad Street, and but just to be part of it and actually put on the suit and play, and it was just really cool. And there's actually not many moments I actually remember because I felt like I was in the daze all day because it was just the crowd. First off, it was like 72 degrees, and there was people out in shorts and t-shirts, and it was just mobbed with people, and the reception from people. I honestly felt like a rock star. And then to top it all off, finding out that we broke the record, um, that was, you know, my father broke into tears. I broke into tears. My brothers did, and you got to do it with your family, and that was, uh, I would say, key word for me is family, because it's the reason why I do it, and the reason why I still do it, because it's a family tradition. But to do it with them is something I wish I can relive every year. You know, unfortunately, my father can't do it anymore. His back and his legs had given up. And my oldest brother got married and he had kids. And then my the middle brother, he went and joined South Philly. But you know, it's just that first day all together was unbelievable, and that I would take the win out of it. I would. It was just still an amazing day, and a lot of memories were made, even though I don't remember most of them, you know. But because it just went by like that, you just didn't realize that. Wow, that was it. You know what I mean? You just went right through it.
So you're getting ready to march or play, whatever you want to call it, your very first time in costume playing, you know,
Mhm.
playing your instrument. What kind of advice was given to you, and who gave it to you?
So uh, it's funny. At 3 different times, my two brothers and my father told me, uh, leading up to that day and that morning and on Broad Street, never all together. It was always like, did you talk to the other one? They all said, don't look at the lights. They said, don't look at the lights and treat it as if it's another rehearsal, but better, which always cracked me up. Like, well, shouldn't your rehearsal be the way that you perform and all? But they, you know, they said, don't look at the lights and act like it's a rehearsal. And I just did, because my dad told me horror stories. I had people, they saw the lights and they just cringe, you know, like they freeze up, and he goes, they almost become useless because they don't move or anything. But and I, you know, and the other key advice I got was from a lot of the older guys in Fralinger was, just have fun. If you're not having fun, you shouldn't be doing this.
Makes a lot of, that seems to be the answer that everybody puts out. So with
Yeah.
that being said, you guys are next up. You get your announcement at the judges stand. Your props do whatever it is they need to do, and the show goes on. What adrenaline is going through your body?
I would say all this adrenaline that I never thought anybody would ever have. It's literally the fastest 4.5 minutes anybody will ever experience. There and honestly, you don't remember it because it goes by like that, and you know, and it's always like the stupid stuff you remember, like, oh, so and so dropped their liar book, and I kicked it. You don't remember anything else but that, and even when you watch the coverage of it, you don't remember that moment. Like you're actually in that moment. Um, it, it's actually really surreal. Like you get up to that start line or you set up your props, and then you hear the whistle blow, and it's almost like it, it's almost like a switch goes on in your head, and it's like game on. But I will say the adrenaline, especially when we went up from Oregon Avenue, which we did back then, all the way up to City Hall. As you got closer to City Hall, you start kicking it up another notch, and it's amazing. But I always said when you were able to read the time on the clock at City Hall, that was when you knew it was getting close because you weren't that far away. But then you just realize your body's just amping up for something that you never thought you had in you.
Yeah. So what would have been your favorite all-time performance?
Can I give one from each of the bands I was in?
Absolutely.
All right, so I would say my favorite one for Frownger was 2010. It was a hillbilly theme, and it was my brother Thomas's first year as captain of the band, so that was bittersweet. But that we won 8 in a row that day. But it was just such a fun day, such a fun theme. Where Furco was 2016 Field of Screens. We got second. That was just such a haunted barnyard theme, and you saw haunted themes, you saw barnyard, but you never saw them mixed before. So it was really cool to be part of that. But to be honest with you, probably my most favorite theme was probably this past year because we just wanted to go with Polish American, which was Clowntown Rodeo, which we had no anticipation of, not knowing what was going to happen until October. Like, all right, now I got to put it. Now you guys got to put a theme together. Oh yeah, and you're competing in October. It's like, oh, okay, But all we wanted to do was set out and go out and have fun. We were like, we didn't want to say like the hell with the prizes or anything like that, but we wanted to do good, but we just wanted to go back out there for the people and just say, hey, listen, we're still here. But we wanted to it was it was just so fun especially when you got to Broad Street after you get done the judges and you saw the smiles on everyone's faces. Taking the pictures with the kids and the families and all that. It was just and on top of it all, this was just a fun theme. It was just energetic, and you could act stupid and you would still be in character.
Right.
And how many
No, it makes
times
sense.
can you say that? My pants could have fell down and I was in character. It would have been frowned upon, but I was in character. But there's so few times that you can just get away with almost anything and still be a character. So this year was probably my most fun. It was just, and plus, I guess not having a parade last year kind of helped with that. Because it's, leading up there, like, oh, I just can't wait. Just can't wait.
What would you say would have been your least favorite? Not that it was horrible, but maybe you guys it could have been better.
2018. That was it. I actually woke up that day not wanting to get out of bed. It was, I think, the actual real temperature of the day was like 12 degrees. And the city was in code blue. The mayor literally put the city in code blue and recommended people not to go outside for their health. And here we are outside doing this. I'll never forget that I right before the judges were trying to tune the horns as best as we can. I look at my phone before it shut off from the cold, and I looked at the wind chill. Furco was going in at, I think it was like 2 something, and I looked at the wind chill. It was -9,
Oh, wow.
and I'm like, "What the hell are we doing?" I'm like, "This." I gotta say, I never wanted a parade to end so much in my life, and that was the most miserable day. I think the most miserable day for a mummer. Period. To be honest with you, it was just raw. I mean, when you get off the bus and your horn freezes immediately, and you didn't play a note on it, you're screwed.
I have a two-part question for you, which
Okay.
it's not that bad. So, number one, I want to mention about the slogan that I had seen on your social media page about building, and my question to coincide with that is, again, during this year's Mummers Parade, I mentioned in my other video, I seen a gentleman mentioned to him it wasn't about winning, it was more about performing. So my
Mhm.
question to you is Mummers and going out there performing, is it about winning? And how does that coincide to the slogan that I seen on your social media page? If you can explain that to people,
All right.
what was on your page?
So the slogan was, "Why join a winner?" Or no, it said, "Don't join a winner. Come build one." Um, because I would say the reason for that slogan was just, Polish American's been on the rise. They were probably at rock bottom. Even their members even say it. Even though I was in Furco, they said they were at rock bottom in 2018 when finishing 11th, and they got 11th. The following year was 10th. The following year was 8th, and then no parade. But then this past year, 2022, 6th prize, and the band's hungry, and it's great. But it also, I hate seeing people that because I hear things that people want to go and win a first prize and they never won one and they want to win one so bad, and next thing you know, they're in a band that just won first prize or is already a contender. And to me, it's like, why? I mean, listen, I've won 5 times. I want to see the guys that never won before win, as much as anyone else. But I would rather do it with a band that. Not saying that no band is that won first prize didn't deserve it. Everybody deserves it, quite frankly. But like, I would like to see a band that worked even harder to get that. Like a band that was at rock bottom, and then within like 10 years, they go from rock bottom to winning, and it's just a bittersweet moment. But going to the performing aspect of it, it's kind of both, because let's be honest, human nature is kind of want to be the best, and in any situation, it's like, I want to be the best that I can be at all times. Um, as much as I love the competition, I think if you go out and perform really well and put smiles on people's faces, that's all that matters at the end of the day. It's Chris, what do we get out of it? You win, you get a trophy, and you get bragging rights. You didn't, but just imagine you go out on the street, you're playing a song, you see a kid, you take a picture with them, and and you never know, you touch their life in a way. It's like, oh look, I got this picture, and they have it forever. You know, you don't get to have a trophy forever, especially you have to give it back at some point.
Yeah.
It's always passed around. I mean, it's a double edged sword. I mean, I want to win. Everybody wants to win, but being a mummer is something special. I mean, you get to go out on the street and you get to be the rock star for the day.
Yeah.
But with this, with the slogan, and it's no knock on anybody. I would never talk bad on anybody, but you know, why why flock to somebody or go join somebody that's already winning when you can go into a band that and help build one, and to be that. I mean, I think that's more bittersweet, like helping build up a band to that point.
It's when before you and I had even touched base, about this interview. I seen on social media, I had seen your profile, and I saw the slogan. And I'm a firm believer in that because I coach soccer, and I used to say that for years because, certain clubs, will pick, the best kids on your team. And,
Yeah.
I've always said, why go to a winning team when you can build a championship, you know what I mean? And that's,
Right.
it's a
Yeah.
true statement.
hmm it
So,
is, because you see that bands like, there's a rule in the string bands, the maximum you could take up in costume is 67. All right. Well, if you have 120 people all that play instruments that are competing to be one of that 67, there's going to be people that are going to be disappointed when they find out you're not one of the 67. And they could bust their butt all year long, making jobs and everything, making every rehearsal. They just don't earn the points, or they don't earn a suit, or they're not given one. It's not sad, but it's like, why don't you go to a band that could use you? You know what I mean?
yeah. Well, let me ask you this question. What was more sweeter, your first championship or your fifth championship?
Uh, I, I gotta say it's the first one, because it's your very first one. I mean, what else can I say about it? I mean, not taking away from the other four, but doesn't diminish anything. You're like, how much work, time, blood, sweat, and tears you put into it. But it's your first one you grabbed. It's like you want to hold on to that forever. And I I never wanted to get that trophy back. And well, thank God we didn't for another 3 years after that. But it's just, once you get it, you hold on to that moment. And it took, like, for instance, it took my father 30 something years to get his very first prize. And I will say this is a funny story behind it, because he's like, I will do anything for a first prize. Goes to Fralinger. They go through their 16-year drought. He went there to be with Vince Lanzalotti, Jack Biondo, a lot of guys that he grew up around or he knew of. And my aunt, God bless her, she passed on, but my aunt Dot, she was a pip. I'll tell you that. He came home that night, and he's like crawling up the step because his back's killing him, his legs. He goes, "Hello, Aunt Dot, Happy New Year." She goes, "Hello, Anthony, congratulations. I thought Quaker was better." She was like, and he goes, "Good night, Aunt Dot," and he crawled right up the steps to the
That's
bedroom.
funny.
I just, she's old. She was older. She was in her 70s, but just the fact that he just got his very first prize, and all he hears is, "I thought Quaker was better."
Well, I mean, let's look at it this way. I mean, like, for people who will watch this that aren't even from Philadelphia, like, this is a huge thing. Like, and
Yeah.
honestly, I think, my personal opinion, I posed a judge question last night, but I believe the people that are true Mummers fans that have watched it for years are better judges than the judges. I do. I'm a firm. I
Yeah.
believe that.
Yeah, because there's, like, I'm not going to take away from anybody that's been successful, because they absolutely deserved it. But there's times you look and it's almost like, if they were different judges, that band could have won. Like, again, like, I've heard people saying, like, I heard people on the street this year, "Oh my God, you guys were so entertaining. I think you guys had a shot." And I'm hearing that. I'm like, man, I wish they were back at 15th and Market right now in that judging booth. I mean, it's amazing. Like, I hear people that I'll see Facebook comments, and they're from my friends and everything. I'll post pictures, and or they'll write to me privately most of the time to say, "Hey, you guys were really good." And there's years that they would say, you guys didn't have it." I'm just like, "Oh, okay, thanks for being honest." I would rather have honesty than sit there and say, "Oh yeah, you guys are great." No, you really weren't, though. I would rather have the honesty. But it's just it's amazing. Like, there's times that the fans will get it right, as I say, like they agree with the judges. But then when they don't agree, it's amazing. Like you go on YouTube and you see the comments that are in the comment section. It's like, oh, it's like, okay,
Mhm.
it's a little crazy, but
Here's one for you. Straight up Mummer's question.
okay.
Market Street or Broad Street and why?
You got to go with Broad Street. You got to go with the long tradition. You got to, but uh, I will say that the one thing that I like about the new route is you get the judging done immediately. So that way, when you go down Broad Street and perform for people, you have that weight off your shoulder and you're just out there having nothing but pure fun and just not a worry in the world. Like you don't have to fix this step. It's done and over with. If you screw it up now, you're not the judges.
Yeah.
It's just, and the other thing is it gives the marshals a break that push all the props, the lumber and all that. You don't have to push these cities up Broad Street anymore. You push them maybe like 4 blocks and then they go to the trucks and they're done. And so, but I would say Broad Street because, I'm a South Philly guy. I grew up in South Philly, born and raised. And then, you know, I hear the stories of the families going out like, so Aunt Sue lives at 12th and Porter. We go down to Broad and Porter every year. We catch the first string band at 10 o'clock in the morning. We have soup and everything, and it's like house is open. You can use the bathroom, going to get warm. You know, you don't hear that when you're up in Center City because it's nothing but high rises.
Yeah. So
You
how
know,
this year, how did Polish American, how did you guys come up with your themes, your theme for the year? And I guess and how does that all come into play? Your theme, your costumes, the music, how does that all transpire?
so we kind of figured that when it got to late September or in September, we're like, we don't think there's going to be a parade. City didn't give us an answer or anything. They're not giving us an answer now. We're not going to get one, I don't think. So we anticipated, didn't anticipate, but we kind of like, all right, well, what do we do if there is one? So, due to COVID, we didn't have the money in the bank like we usually do because the parades and everything. So we went and polled the band and said, listen, we want to know what costumes you have that are in your closets or in your garage or whatever. And I would say 75 to 80% of the members responded to 2019 cowboy theme. So they're like, bring them in, bring them in, anything cowboy, farm, Western, anything related. And back for what we were supposed to do in 2021 was a circus theme. So they said, oh, why don't we do it instead of just straight up cowboys? How about we do a twist to it and kind of tie in circus with it and do a rodeo clown theme? And writing the music, I got I heard the idea as to why and everything and I didn't even get a vote on it. I was just like, I hope they do it. There was, and they said, all right, well, if we need to put a theme together, like, and there's a competition, we'll do it. I will say that one, I think it was the beginning of October, we found out there's a competition and there's a parade. Now you go full throttle. Now you're putting 11 months of work into 3 months. I don't recommend that this never happen again because it was a big nightmare, but fun. Um, working on the costume, we've developed the show in 2 weeks from start to finish. We sat down, we're like on a Thursday night for about 2 hours and said, all right, rodeo clowns, give us your ideas. And we as a committee just sat there and just spitballed all these ideas, put it on a piece of paper. All right, well, we like this, we like this, we like this. All right. Timmy Getzer, who's an amazing artist and designer and also an amazing percussionist, he sat down with and came up with an idea of a storyboard, like of a timeline of like where everything's going to go, and like here's your opening, here's your first statement, banjo, and all that. And we're just like, yeah, let's just do it. What do we got to lose? Let's go out and have fun. And I once I heard, I gave out some bits and pieces of music just to hear it. took the best ones that the band, how the band sounded. Obviously, all right, they sounded best on this. We're using it. Found a spot for it in the show. We did all the work on the costumes, but it was just the whole process was so quick. I mean, we didn't have time. It's like, well, there's no idea, there's no bad idea until you provide a better one. That's what the idea. That's what the whole thing was, and I think maybe like one or two things, maybe three, changed from what was originally on the paper to what we actually performed. I mean, it was just all steam ahead.
Yeah. So, do you have anything that you wanted to sport out there, show off to anybody? You got any kind of memorabilia, anything? I know you're just waking up.
Yeah, it was a long night. I mean, I had to help out with a party and everything, but I am rocking my, oh god, it's print's so small I can't even make it out. Polish American String Band 2022 Rodeo Clown shirt.
Nice.
I mean, I don't have many things I'm in my living room, but I don't have really many things because we're still transitioning from winter stuff to Valentine's Day stuff.
Right.
But I really don't have it. I mean, we used to have photos up on the wall of us, like right around New Year's. We'll put it up.
Yeah.
From a New Year's Day, but I guess we took it down. Yeah, it's not even here now.
Cool. Well, I want to thank you for coming on today and taking time from sleep and from your family and this was like a spur of the moment thing. I had somebody lined up today and it kind of fell through, but and once again, Polish American always comes through for you. So is there anything you want to add in final that we didn't get a chance to talk about?
Polish American open house February 20th, 1:30, 2 o'clock. It's 2 Street Strugglers. I'll say that it'll be a good time. You don't have to come and join. Just come have a nice time. Be with some people. Talk mums. I'm sure mum tapes will be playing. Listen to a bunch of mum legends play music and food and drink. What can I say?
do me a favor. Why don't you give a shout out to everybody for me about my documentary here and have everybody hit me up.
Yeah, so Mummer's story. Really don't get to hear that much, a Mummer's side of their life in it. Really great idea. I will say that. Such a great idea. I mean, tune in for more, man. Tune in. What else can I say about it? I mean,
hit that like and subscribe button,
Yeah, hit that like and subscribe, man. You can't do it enough. I mean, you want more videos, you got to like and subscribe to this page.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So when's your guys' open house again?
I think it's a Sunday, February 20th. 2727 East Westmoreland Street. And if you want to join, go ahead. We play an instrument. Play an instrument. We can always use you.
Nice. Well, thanks a lot for your time. I greatly appreciate it, and I hope you guys have a beautiful and happy 2022.
Thank you. You too.
You take care, brother.
You too, buddy.